Hey everybody, Mr. McCoskey here. One of the things during my class that I want to do is I want to make sure my students do proper push-up. Okay, and I've had people go, Mr. McCoskey, I know how to do a push-up, and I look at them and they're pretty bad. All right, so there's a few things that you need to do while doing a push-up, regardless of the type that you do, that are going to help you be successful at it. One of the biggest things that I see, or one of the biggest mistakes that I see, all right, is people don't tighten their core. So to do a good push-up, you need some rigidity or some stiffness in your core. Okay. The other thing about push-ups is some people have a hard time doing them. Okay, that's okay. A lot of people lack upper body strength. All right. So what we want to do is we want to find the type of push-up, okay, that is your baseline, the easiest one that is for you that you can do, and then we want to progress from the baseline. All right, so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you 4 different types of push-ups. Okay, the first one is a chest elevated. The second one is a bottom-up push-up. All right, then we have our regular push-up. All right, and we have our feet elevated push-up. All right, now during the physical activity part of class, one of the things that you're going to have to do, okay, is do a little bit of a strength portion. Okay, and the 2 things that we're focusing on for strength are going to be upper body strength, pushing strength, which is your push-ups, and core strength. If you want to do more than that, that is fine, but that's the minimum that I want you guys to do. Okay, so one of the big things with doing the proper push-up, as I said, is to maintain that rigidity. And what I do with that is I don't want sag in my body. Okay, I don't want, if you think about this as my back, I don't want my back and butt kind of being like that. I don't want to be a camel or the top of a house. I want to keep the point between my shoulder blades and my glutes as straight as possible. Okay, and to do that, I have to brace that core a little bit as I'm doing the push-up. All right, now what I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to show you guys the proper way to do a regular push-up first, and then I'm going to show you some variations of each one. So with our regular push-up, okay, as I said, we want to keep that back as straight as possible. There's a couple other little things too, okay? One of the things I want to do is I want to try to get my hands roughly under my armpits, okay? So my hands are under my armpits. All right, one of the other common mistakes that I see a lot of people do also is they flare their elbows out, okay? So we don't want to flare our elbows out. That flaring of the elbows puts a lot of pressure on that humerus in the shoulder joint. Okay, so what we want to do is we want those elbows to be roughly 45 degrees. Now you can adjust in or out a little bit from there, okay, but we want them to be roughly 45. Personally, I keep mine in a little tighter just because I have some shoulder issues. It's gonna get a little more tricep working, which makes it a little bit of a harder push-up, okay, but that's me. You don't have to do it that way. Okay, so when I'm doing my push-up, I'm getting into that push-up position. Okay, hands are under my shoulders. All right, my toes are pressed against the ground, and what I'm doing is I'm pressing between those hands and feet to tighten my core. All right, so what I don't want is something like this, or I don't want to be sagging like this. This would be the worst thing you could do, okay? So I want that back up nice and straight. As you should be able to see right now, I should have a pretty straight line between my glutes and my shoulders, okay? I'm going to come down as far as I can. All right, now, here's the other thing. I want a full range of motion. This is not a push-up. Okay, I want to go down as far as I can, almost touching my chest to the ground, all right, and then I'm pushing back up, all right, almost touching to the ground, pushing back up. That is a proper push-up. If you can't do that, or you can't do more than 3 or 4 of them, what we want to do is we want to regress to an easier version, okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to build that strength with the easier version, all right, and then we're going to start increasing you from your baseline. So the first regression that I'm going to show you here, okay, is what I call a chest elevated push-up. Okay, now I have a bench here, but you need to find the elevation that is easiest for you. Okay, I have some clients at the gym, I literally put them against a wall. Okay, so they're standing against the wall, they got a slight lean. All right, as long as we're putting some pressure on that upper body. Okay, so you can use a wall, you can use a bench, a kitchen counter, anything that gives you a little bit of a challenge to do these push-ups, okay? Everything's the same that I just went over with the regular push-up, all right, but I'm just elevating that front part of my body now. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, okay, again, hands are still under my shoulder blades. Okay, elbows are gonna stay at a roughly 45 degrees. All right, I want that rigidity in my core here, so I'm gonna tighten that core. Okay, keep everything nice and tight, pushing against my toes on the ground. I'm gonna come down, touch my chest to that bench or counter or whatever you're using, okay, and I'm gonna complete it that way. I wanna go all the way down. I wanna lock those elbows out at the top to get full extension. Okay, the next regression to a push-up we're gonna do, so you mastered the chest elevated push-up, okay, and it's starting to get a little easy for you, and you're ready for a little more of a challenge, okay? This is what I call a bottom-up push-up, okay? It forces you, all right, to push your whole body weight up to keep that rigidity in your core, okay, but you get a little bit of a rest in between, all right? And you can rest on the ground as long as you need to go to the next one. Okay, hey, for some of you guys, maybe you only do one push-up, okay? But our goal here is by the end of the semester, getting you to multiple push-ups, okay? And it's not uncommon for me to have students in the class, because when we're in school, we do test on this, to go from 1 or 2 or 3 push-ups to 10 to 15, sometimes even 20 by the end of the semester, okay? So if you are diligent in doing these weekly during class, you will see an improvement, okay? If you don't see an improvement, you're doing something wrong. Okay, or you're not doing enough, and if that is the case, come talk to me or send me a message. Okay, so with the bottoms up push-up, I'm gonna do the exact same thing, except I'm starting it in reverse. I'm gonna start on the ground, okay? So I'm starting on the ground, again, same as before, hands are under those armpits, elbows are at 45, okay? I'm gonna push against my toes, all right? I'm gonna push my hands against my toes to create that rigidity in my core, okay? And I'm gonna come up to full extension. So I'm coming here up, full extension. All right, I'm gonna gently lower myself back to the ground. Take a break for a second, okay? Get that pressure off of those muscles. If you need to bring your hands out for a second, that's okay. All right, and I'm gonna continue that again. Now notice when I'm coming up, my back is pretty straight. Not perfect, but it's pretty straight. Okay, what I shouldn't see is I shouldn't see this to here. That is not a push-up. That's a cobra stretch, okay? So I wanna keep that rigidity from here. The other thing I shouldn't see, okay, is this, where I'm kind of pushing back, all right, and getting the hips up. All right, I'm really not doing a push-up at that point. Okay. The final regression that I'm going to show you, okay, is a feet elevated push-up. Now, these are not easy. This is for somebody who has mastered the regular push-up. This is for somebody who can do multiple sets of regular push-ups. Okay, so if you can't do that, if you can't do 2 sets of 10 of your regular push-ups, okay, continue doing that. All right, now if that's starting to get a little easy for you and you want a little more of a challenge rather than just adding the push-ups up, okay, we can do a foot elevated push-up. Okay, so again, everything's the same. All I'm doing now is I'm elevating those feet. Okay, now the one mistake I see a lot of people doing with this that you really got to be careful of, okay, is you don't want to get that arch in your back, okay? I want to, again, get that core tightness, okay? And when I say brace the core, I mean if somebody's going to punch you in the stomach, you would brace for that, okay? I want to brace that core as I'm doing this, all right? And I want to keep those hips a little higher in the ground. Now, you might not be able to get all the way to the ground on this, okay? Imagine something coming off, touching your chest. You're going to be able to get down pretty far, but you probably won't get as far as you normally would doing a regular push-up. Okay, so I'm going to get those feet on the bench. I'm going to get my toes up. All right, hands are, again, still under my shoulder blades or under my armpits. Okay, I'm going to come down as far as I can. All right, again, keeping that body nice and straight. I should not see this bend, okay? All right, what I want to see is that rigidity in the core, keeping that back nice and flat. I'm coming down, all right, pushing back up. Hope this helped. Okay, so there's 4 different variations of the push-ups, okay? You need to find what works for you, okay? I tell my fitness classes all the time, and I'm gonna tell you right now, you can't compare yourself to other people. You can't compare yourself to what you used to do, okay? Or what you wanna do, all right? Let's find out what you are capable of doing right now, and let's build from that, okay? So again, to start off, if you can do, just a real quick recap, okay, if you can do 3 to 4 to 5 regular push-ups, really good push-ups on your own. Do that, okay? If that's tough for you, regress to one of the regressions, okay? And if you can do 2 sets of 10 and it's easy, all right, you can elevate the feet to make it a little tougher, or do a combination, okay? Maybe you do 2 sets or 1 set of the regular push-ups, all right? And then your last set, you finish with a set of chest or feet elevated push-ups, okay? Hope this helped, guys. All right, if you have any questions about any of this, email me, okay? I'll help you as best I can. Hopefully we're in school doing this soon, all right? But for now, this is what it is, all right? Keep moving, guys. Talk to you later.